Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Next Gen Agile with Shifali. If you are new here, a small request. It will hardly take a few seconds to hit that subscribe button so that you are up to date with all the new videos that are coming in on the channel of Agile related content. So today we are deep diving into Agile metrics, the numbers that actually tell you the health of your team and your delivery. Whether you are running Scrum sprints or Kanban flow, these metrics will make you a sharper, more impactful Scrum Master. So grab a notebook because by the end of this video, you are going to walk away with a clear, actionable plan. Let's go. Before we jump into the metrics, let's see why do metrics matter. It gives you visibility. It actually helps you what's really happening and not just a gut feel of saying that the team is having these issues. It helps you to identify bottlenecks, spot where work gets stuck before it becomes a crisis. Metrics drive improvement, like, for example, to measure retrospective actions. Did they actually work? It helps you to have meaningful conversations with the stakeholders because you are talking in data and you are not just sharing opinions. Remember, metrics don't manage your team, they help you ask better questions. Okay, so here is the roadmap of what we will cover today. I will talk about 7 key metrics for both Scrum and Kanban frameworks. I have color coded the frameworks so that you understand where we are in the flow right now. So, we will be talking about velocity, sprint burndown, cumulative flow diagram, cycle time, lead time, throughput, team health or happiness index. I will explain you what are the formulas of these metrics and how to read them through. Let's dive into it. Okay, so the first metrics is velocity. This is a very common one, and I hope that you all might be using it in your day to day work as a Scrum Master. So, what is velocity? It is the sum of story points of completed user stories in a sprint. What is the unit that you might be using for your user stories? Story points, or maybe items completed in the sprint. It depends on your organization. Cadence, measured at the end of every sprint. And why do we use it? We use it to forecast future sprint capacity. So it's a very important metrics to identify that how much work your team is capable of taking in into one sprint. So how do you read velocity chart? So these are sprint by sprint graphs that I have shown here from sprint 1 to sprint 6. So what do you see? The gray bar graph here is the committed story points and the other color is the completed story points. So when you see in sprint 1, the team committed 40 story points, right? And they were able to complete 35 story points. Now, as we move ahead in the sprint 2, sprint 3, and when you see by the sprint 5 and 6, the team has managed to actually complete what they have committed. So it's a very common trend for new teams. The sprint actually starts like what it looks like in sprint 1. And when a team is maturing, you will see the data as in sprint 5 or sprint 6. So when the velocity is stabilizing, it's a great sign that your team is maturing. The second metric that we will be talking about is the sprint burn down. So while velocity actually looks across different sprints to measure how your team is working, sprint burn down is to measure and have a deep insight into one of the sprints. So is your team on track to finish the sprint goal? This is where sprint burn down comes in picture. The remaining work or the story points tracked daily across the sprint duration. So when we study about sprint burn down charts, there are 3 lines that are there. Ideal line, what perfect progress looks like, straight diagonal downward. Then there is the actual line, what is really happening in your team during a sprint. If there are bumps, it means there are blockers. If the line is going flat, it means there is no work done. It gives you a chance to ask questions to your team at these times when there are bumps and flats. Red flags. Line rising, it means that the scope has been added in the mid of the sprint. If the line is flat for 2 plus days, the team is blocked. Sprint burn down is a really great metric for you to start the conversations during the sprint with your teams in the daily scrum and asking them what is really blocking them. Here is the graph of a sprint burn down. So if you see, the ideal burn down chart is the straight downward line that is going from day 0 of your sprint until the day 10 of your sprint. So this is the ideal burn down chart. 10. What is the actual burn down chart for your team, for example? So if the team has committed 50 story points, now they have started work from day 0 and they are moving downwards day 1 to day 2. So it means that the work has started and the team is progressing. If you see the line from day 2 to day 3, it's a flat line. It means that the team is blocked. There has been no progress during this day. So it gives you a chance to ask the question to your team, what is it that is blocking them? Then again, after day 3, if you see that the team is progressing and the burn down chart is going downwards, and similarly, if you see here again, it is going downward. So in this way, you can identify and resolve blockers and check with the team in daily scrum by studying sprint burn down chart for your particular sprint. Let's get into the metrics for Kanban framework. Cumulative Flow Diagram, that's CFD, it visualizes your entire workflow health at a glance. Here in this diagram, each band represents a workflow stage, and the width of the band is the work in progress. Slope is the throughput. So how do you study different bands in CFD? If steady bands growing evenly, it means that it's a healthy flow. If the bands are widening rapidly, it means the work in progress limit has been reached. It means there's a slowdown in your team. Band going flat, it is not growing. There is a bottleneck. Narrow top band that is done, it means the delivery is slow and you need to investigate with the team that what is it that is blocking the team. So here is the CFD graph that you can see. How you can study this graph, let me explain it to you. For example, we are at week 1 and then we are talking until week 6. So green area represents your done part. Black area represents your backlog. And if you see a thin line here, a blue line that is in progress, in review, so it's a thin line. How do you study this graph now? If the done band is growing steadily, as you can see here, from week 1, week 2 until it reaches week 6 of the sprint. So when you see from week 1 until week 6, if the done items are growing, it means it's a healthy delivery. If you see the blue line, if the blue line is again in progress items are also narrow and growing, it means the work in progress limit is maintained. There are no breaches of work in progress limit. If you see this black, that is to do items, the backlog items are actually getting reduced. It means that the backlog is flowing through. So this is how you could study a CFD diagram if you're working in Kanban framework and get to know how your team is working or moving ahead in the flow over 6 weeks time or 8 weeks time. It is up to you that how many weeks you take to analyze the team. The next metric that we are talking about is the cycle time. We can use it for both Scrum and Kanban frameworks. What is cycle time? It's a very simple formula. The date of work completed minus date of work has started. So cycle time is actually measured when the item has been picked up and it has been changed from status to do to in progress, and when the status of that item was marked done. So the duration between in progress and done is the cycle time. What do you understand by this different numbers of cycle time? Lower cycle time, it means the faster delivery of value to the customer. High cycle time, you need to investigate work in progress limits or handoff delays between different stages that you are following. It could be that your items are stuck, maybe in testing, in review, so you need to analyze where the item is stuck. What should be your target if you are trying to study or use cycle time as a metric? Reduce cycle time by improving the flow. You don't have to rush people. So, gradually, if the cycle time of the team is getting improved, it means that the flow is improving of the team and the team is adjusting or improving in the agile ways of work. Okay, next metric is the lead time. So, how long from request to delivery the customer's experience of speed is the lead time. What is the formula of lead time? Is date work completed minus date request was made. So, if you see when the request was created, the lead time actually starts from there. And the cycle time actually starts from when the work started. Okay, so here is the difference between the two metrics that you can see. Lead time is when the request was created in the system or when you got the requirement from the customer until it got delivered to the customer, it is the lead time. Cycle time is when the work actually started and when the work was done. So this is where you understand the difference and you measure that what's the lead time of the team and what's the cycle time of the team. So waiting time is lead minus cycle time is where you can win the most improvement. So whatever is the waiting time between the lead time and the cycle time, it gives you a conversation starter with the product owners or with the stakeholders that why there was a delay when actual work was started and the request was created earlier. So these are type of the questions that you need to understand or ask your stakeholders. So here is the graph of cycle time trend. Are we getting faster? Average cycle time per week in days. So as I mentioned earlier as well, if your cycle time is lower, it means it is better. Your team is improving. So when we see here from week 1, the cycle time here as it moves ahead upward towards 10, and then it goes down and again it is going down by week 8. So downward trend of the cycle time over 8 weeks of time, it means that the team is removing bottlenecks and the flow is increasing. Okay, so this is how you read the cycle time trend and you get to know how your team is working. Throughput. So this is another metric that is used in Kanban framework. How many items does the team complete per week or sprint? Throughput is number of work items completed per time period. How you can use this? You can count items, not story points. Work best for similarly sized items. Use Monte Carlo simulation for forecasting. What does throughput actually tell you? If there is a drop in the throughput, team is slowing down. So again, this gives you a question to ask the team why, to investigate the reason behind it. If there is a spike in the throughput, that means it's a great sprint rhythm. You need to replicate it. Pair with cycle time for full picture. So this is how you can use throughput in Kanban. So here is the graph of throughput. We have taken a time of 8 weeks and number of items completed each week, then we are seeing that it is consistent, right? So for example, in week 1 8 items were completed, week 2 10, and so far if we go till week 8 12 items. So average throughput, if you take out, that is 10.25 items per week. So this you can use as your forecast baseline for the upcoming work, that this is what is my team capable of doing in terms of the same capacity that you are using every sprint or during that same 8 weeks period. You can easily forecast what and how much work your team is capable of completing. Team health and happiness index. So this metric could be used in both the frameworks Scrum and Kanban. So in this, how you can use this? You can use surveys or design a Miro board or a Lucid board and have the votings come in. For example, fun and enthusiasm, learning and growth. Take the votes. How do people feel about it? About different things that are happening in the team collaboration, process, mission alignment, and you will get the index numbers here that will tell you a story about your team. Here is a quick reference of all 7 metrics. Velocity, framework, Scrum, measure, story points per sprint, frequency per sprint, action if bad, decompose stories, fix estimation. Sprint burndown, Scrum framework, measures daily progress, frequency daily, remove blockers immediately. CFD, Kanban framework, flow stages is the measure, continuous frequency, and it helps you tighten work in progress limits. Cycle time can be used with both the frameworks. It measures days to complete, frequency is per item, and what is the action item? Reduce work in progress and handoffs. Lead time again could be used with both the frameworks. It measures days from request, frequency is per item, action, cut queues, waiting time. Throughput, used in Kanban framework, measures items per week, frequency weekly, action, unblock and smooth workflow. Team health, used both frameworks, measures morale and clarity of the team, frequency could be bi-weekly, action if bad, retrospective action items. Here are few metric mistakes to avoid. Using metrics to judge individuals. Rather, you should use them to inspect the system, not people. Chasing the number, gaming metrics. Rather, focus on improving what the metric reveals. Too many metrics at once. Instead, start with 2 to 3 metrics, add more as the team matures. Reporting metrics without action. So every metric review ends with an experiment. You should always keep this in mind. Now, what is your action plan? Pick 2 to 3 metrics relevant to your team right now. Start collecting data. Even a simple spreadsheet works. Review in your next retrospective. Share the charts. Run one experiment to improve the weakest metric. Measure again in 2 weeks. Did the experiment help? If this video helped you in any way, please hit that like button. Put in the comments that which metric are you using for your team. And thank you for watching this video.